Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing two Christmas candy recipes with you. This first recipe is for peanut brittle. This is something that my grandmother made every year, and I am not sure I've made it the past couple years, but it's really not that hard. If you have a candy thermometer, you just need a few ingredients. So let's go ahead and put it together. You're going to start with 2 cups of sugar and half a cup of water. And you're going to mix that together in a saucepan of some kind, and just make sure it's well mixed. We're not turning the heat on yet. And then you're going to add 1 cup of corn syrup. I just have light corn syrup from Walmart. It's a great value brand, and I think it has vanilla added into it, but it works perfectly fine. And we're going to mix those up together and cook them over a medium heat and bring it up to a boil. And we're just going to stir it occasionally. It's not something you have to keep stirring at first. We just want to bring it up to temperature, but stir occasionally to make sure that it doesn't burn. So this is my candy thermometer. You use whatever kind you have. Actually, when I was really young, and I would make this with my grandmother, and I'd try to go home and duplicate it without a candy thermometer, and she would say, oh, just drop a little bit in a cup of cold water, and if it becomes a hard ball, you know it's ready. Don't do that. Just get a candy thermometer. When it comes up to 250 degrees, you are going to add in 2 cups of peanuts. My grandmother always used raw, I think she called them Spanish peanuts because they still have the skins on them. These were hard for me to find this year. I actually ordered them off of Amazon, and they came in the shell, and my daughter and I had to peel them all, take all the peanuts out of the shell. It was peanut brittle made out of nothing but love, you guys, okay? So after you add the peanuts, you're going to stir it until it reaches 300 degrees. Remove it from the heat. Add 2 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Now that is going to make it foam up, which makes our candy nice and foamy. So you want to stir it hard and fast until all that butter melts. And then you're going to pour it on a parchment lined cookie sheet. My grandmother never used parchment paper. She would just spread butter over the cookie sheet instead. Well, nowadays parchment paper is cheaper, so I like to spread this out as thin as possible. It goes farther, and I like it thinner. So I did make a second batch of this for my husband. This is a ghost chili powder. So ghost pepper peanut brittle is what we made. I just mixed it in with the baking soda and added it in at the end. I actually am kind of sensitive to that kind of stuff, so I went ahead and let my husband add the hot pepper mix into the candy when it was all done. Sorry, we moved the camera here and I didn't even realize it, but I'm adding the butter and the vanilla, and then he's adding in the hot pepper powder because it's hot. And I wouldn't do this in the house again because it really did make me cough for a while. So if you like hot, this would probably be good for you. I did try it. I mean, it was hot on my tongue, but it wasn't like terrible. And then when this sits and cools, it will get hard, and my grandmother just broke it apart with her hands like this in rough chunks, and it's delicious. People love getting this as a gift, as long as there's no peanut allergies. But yeah, the second recipe is for turtles. This is also something else my grandmother made. I'm not sure this is her recipe. I did not get a lot of recipes from her when she passed away, so I just try to find what I can. This recipe calls for you to melt the butter, add brown sugar, white sugar, and corn syrup, and you are going to mix that all up in your saucepan, and then you're going to add sweetened condensed milk. Yeah, I was going to say evaporated milk. No, sweetened condensed milk. not the whole can. I don't have the recipe right in front of me, but I will leave the link down in the description box. This caramel is delicious. Like, reminds me of what my grandmother used to make, just an old-fashioned creamy caramel. So good. So again, you want to get your candy thermometer out. I tried using my meat thermometer, but just put your candy thermometer in there and check the temperature. Again, I don't have the recipe in front of me, but you're going to cook this until it comes up to temperature. I toasted my pecans before I added them, but add in your pecans. You're going to drop it onto parchment paper again into the size that you want them and let them cool. And after they've cooled, you're going to melt some chocolate. You have a couple options here. You can dip the entire turtle into the chocolate and have a chocolate covered turtle. The nice thing about this is if they sit out at room temperature and the caramel gets soft, the chocolate kind of keeps it from like getting too soft, like melting all over your hands. I don't know. I just find that when if they sit at room temperature, they get a little soft in your hand. So covering them completely in chocolate kind of helps with that. But I really like to just plop the chocolate on top, kind of like a turtle. I don't know, my caramel kind of spread out a little more than I'm used to. Maybe I didn't have it quite up to temperature, but usually the nuts kind of stick out on the bottom like a turtle's head or legs, and then you put the chocolate on top, kind of like his like the shell. But you could also chop up the pecans, which probably, I think it would be nice, but I don't know. This is the way my grandmother always did it, so it's the way I do it. I like the whole pecans, but you could also chop up the pecans, and that would be good too. It would be like a little caramel with pecans in it and some chocolate on top. Delicious. So that is what I'm doing. You could also just drizzle the chocolate on top. That'd be good too. So, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy December 23rd. I can't believe tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.